So one of the things when I taught basic reading was I kind of struggled with progress monitoring and making sure that every single student and every single IEP meeting goal for basic reading was met. And so one thing that I did with another coworker is create these, and at the bottom it has all the different spelling rules. And some lists, have more words than others because this was a huge focus that I had for a lot of my students was that silent E roll. And so I had to track the students' reading. And so this allowed me to do that. I would be able to print these off, have the students read them, and then I could mark if they got them right or if they got them wrong. And then I could write right beside it what they did say. And it was working out fantastic. However, when it came to the overall leveling of basic reading, a lot of my students didn't see the overall roadmap or picture. And so that's where this came in. And so all the levels are down below. As you can see, level 1, level 2, level 3, 4, and 5. And then here's just like the main page. If we go to level 1, the students would go here and they would say 2. If they got pretty much an 80% on this or a 90%, I would give them a 2 and they would mark it that they've got that roll down and they understand it. If they missed more than 8, so like 7 and below, I would make them mark it as a 1. And then if they got maybe, 3 to 0 words correct, it would get marked as a 0. And that way I knew what my students needed to work on quickly to see what areas they are struggling on or where they got it. And it just kept me and my students accountable for the overall progress of basic reading because they don't just stop with me. So I was able to give this to the next year's teacher. So she would be able to use my roadmap and know exactly where all my students were. And then it keeps track of how close they are to mastery on level 1. And then if you go to the table of contents page, it shows exactly how much percentage my students are at each different level, because sometimes we would jump to a different level if it was based on the curriculum, like suffixes. If they were learning in class certain suffixes, I might skip to this suffix and begin teaching it. And it allowed my students to really key in on their learning. So feel free to make a copy of this or the goal setting, progress monitoring, and allow your students to really start to take ownership of their basic reading.